Hello. I'm not late. I'm purposely. Ads. There were so many of them. There were so many of them. I was hiding from them. Hello, hi everybody. Hello, how you doing? How you doing? Hello, Lankuri. Hello, Hosmod, of course. Hello, Potter. Hello, Mad Cat Scotty. Hello, M0. Hello, Astro. Hello, Brainy, the RPG cat. Hello, Mario. And also, thank you for the posture check, Mario. I did actually posture check when you redeemed that. I just was not here yet because I was hiding. I was hiding underneath my desk from the ads, and then I like posture checked under my desk. Yes. How are you all doing today? How is everybody? How are we all doing? I am doing okay. I exist. I exist. I exist. What does it mean to be real? I ask myself this every time. Quack. I agree. I agree. It looks like there's a really bad delay between my end and Twitch's end today. So that's going to be mildly interesting, but it's fine. We'll cope. We'll cope. We'll cope. It's fine. Here I am watching Psydere VOD, getting interrupted by the real Psydere. Double the Psydere. That sounds terrible. Side double. I don't know. There's a way to make this work, and I can't think of what it is. So wait, is that the mythical Psydere Dere? We've discovered it. We've discovered the mythical Psydere Dere. Oh dear. Doctor, I think I'm addicted to writing short stories. When did this happen? Oh, once upon a time. Yes. I don't have a witty reply to that. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. My being trained in the science has whipped out all of the humor. Hi Bushy, how you doing? How you doing? Hope to stick around for the whole stream this time. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I believe in you. You can do it. But of course, if you need to go away somewhere, that's also fine. That's also fine. No pressure. I'm not holding you captive in the lab. Like, you don't have to stay here, you know. Please do though. Please do. Beautiful avatar, thank you. I made it myself. It's a VRoid one that I've made myself. I did the design myself. I made the model myself. That's why it's a little bit like wonky in places. Like if you have a look at the wait, can I show you this? Wait. I'll show you this. This is when it takes it 17 hours to work. Okay, never mind. Apparently I can't show you this. If you look at my pocket, why is this not working? What's going on? Oh, there we go. Looking at the pocket, it's a bit wonky, but you know, that's because I did my best. I did my best, but it's fine. Obviously there is no such thing as a model. This is actually just what I look like. So yeah, but this is my magical girl transformation. What can I say? Hopefully writes the journal article. Please do. Please take all of my writing for me. If it was ethical, I would definitely be getting help with that. I would do it. Discovery Pog, we can't stop doing science here. It's so true. There's too much science sometimes. Sometimes I feel like there's too much science and we need to stop. But it's fine. It's fine. Hi Caleb, welcome in. Blink twice. Yes, blink twice if you need help. The problem being is that I'm the only person whose blinks can be seen here. So that means by default this doesn't work. And therefore the hypothesis is nullified. Nobody is being held captive. Not a single person. Not a single person. Not a single person. Are you more real than VOD Psydere? This is a good question. I don't know anymore. I feel like they all just loop into themselves and become a singularity. I don't know. Eric, thank you. Thank you for the resub. Wait, what? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. There's such a delay. What's going on? Why? How bad is the delay? Hang on. Okay, the delay is literally like Okay, the delay's like 15 seconds. That's quite bad. We're working with like a YouTube level delay today, apparently, but this is fine. We can make it work. Thank you so much for the resub, Eric. Thank you for renewing your research contract. It's been 14 months. Goodness gracious. I live in fear. Let's not go into the, oh God, everything is making me feel old discussion again. I can't do that again. I can't do that again today. We're not doing that again today. I can't. This is not true. I haven't left in months. I survived by staying silly. Relatable. Maybe we should write an article about how ethical it is to employ writing help. You know, I'm sure that that's already been done. I'm sure that there are lots of articles already about that, you know? She put in her PhD thesis and she's still talking about proving a null hypothesis. Yeah, I can't help it. It's just how I think. Genuinely, I think doing a PhD like rewires your brain in like a really weird and cursed way. Yeah. No, Astro, you're not allowed to blink. That's. Yeah, I mean, well done for finding a method, but that's the kind of exploration I like to see. Hi, Nightmind. Hello. How are you doing? And also, hi, Basil. How are you doing? Enjoy your lurk. And hi, Doc Rect. How are you doing? How is everybody? Are we all good today? I'm feeling good. I'm not as tired as I was yesterday. I'm not as sleepy. It is a bit earlier though, so that makes sense. Yeah, no, I'm feeling okay. I spent my whole day basically like trying to get I've got like a document and I'm trying to get the citations from Zotero to like work because loads of them unlinked. I think because I used 2 separate Google accounts when I was writing up the document and then I imported them separately and now they're all unlinked and I have to go through and I have to relink like 200 citations. So that's fun. That's cool. But it's fine. You know, the citations are there. It's just like copying and pasting the names. It's just mildly irritating. Yeah. Because I didn't manage to import the reference list before any of it, so this is where we are. It's fine. I did some research and it turns out because there's a smaller number of patent lawyers because it requires 2 years in hard sciences and no one really goes to law school with a bachelor's in science. This is funny because I am one of those people that did get into law school with a BS. Well, that means that there is a niche that you could serve if you so desire to. And I always say it's good to capitalize on your niches. Look at me. I was like, what have I got? I'm a weeb and I like VTubers and I also do psychology. Let's capitalize upon it by becoming one of the only psychologist VTubers. Big brain, capitalize on your niche. Identify your USP and market yourself heavily with it. There you go. Excellent business development suggestion there. Yes. Guerrilla streams are somehow more regular than your old schedule. I know, right? I think it's because there's less pressure, you know? Like, I don't know. When I was setting myself a schedule, what is it me or is my eye tracking a bit weird today? Like my eyes keep closing when they're not closing. What's going on? I'm confused. But yeah, I was like setting myself the schedule and I was like, I will absolutely stream at this time. And then like work stuff would come up or whatever. And then I'd be like, okay, turns out I can't stream at this time. And then I'd feel bad. But then because I felt bad, I wouldn't want to stream on other days because it wasn't on the schedule. Whereas now I'm just like, schedules, I don't need one. I don't believe in them. I'm just going to embrace the chaos and just stream whenever I have the time and feel like it. And yeah, it is somehow more regular. I don't know, maybe this just works better for me. I mean, schedules. Who needs a schedule? Become free, exactly. And hi, Wufster, how are you doing? Welcome in. I hope you're good. Good luck with the citations. They're a pain. Yeah, they are. Are we going to make 8 p.m. our usual meetup time? Honestly, I don't know. When I say I'm just gonna stream whenever I have time and whenever I can and whenever I feel like it, I mean it actually. Like it could be whenever. You know, after work and on weekends and on public holidays are the most obvious ones, but like, who knows? Who knows? I may be able to get permission from my employer to stream during work hours because there's some stuff that I could do that like but for like co-working streams that wouldn't be terrible to do on stream. So we'll see. Maybe there will be a return of the co-working streams. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, the citations are easier to manage if I use tech, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Because that would involve learning how to do tables and things, and I don't want to. That's learning, and I don't have the brain capacity or the time right now. I'll do it eventually, though. I swear. I swear. Hi, Zaki. How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Citations with LibreOffice aren't that hard. I did my thesis with it. Yeah, this is the thing. If I was smart, I would have been using LibreOffice, but like I did everything in Google Docs and I regret my decision because, oh my gosh, the update is so slow. It's so slow. Because like, I imagine with LibreOffice, it's probably a bit faster because it's like, it's not, like I imagine there's just, I don't know how these things work. There's just some kind of direct link between the programs, right? But like the Google Docs ones uses a webhook and good Lord, it is so slow. Earlier, I had to wait half an hour for it to update 200 citations. Yeah. 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 Pain. Embrace chaos, invite havoc. So true. So true. That's my default state. Well, actually, let's be honest. No, I'm too lawful for the chaos, really. I'm too lawful. Hi, Guns. How you doing? How you doing? All good here, thanks. Hope the same goes for you. It does, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, no, things are fine. Things are good on my end. I'm just vibing. I'm just like I'm how can I describe this? Like after I finished my first draft of my thesis and sent it to be getting corrections and feedback and stuff, it felt like a load of space opened up in my brain. So I'm just enjoying having space in my brain and being able to actually like do things and enjoy things. That's quite nice. To actually have interests and hobbies. Wild. Documentation. It is true. Documentation is the best place to learn. But surely there's some pretty good like YouTube tutorials for tech. Surely. Oh no. How painful citations are for me, realizing I have to do a whole treaty file number rather than just Geneva Convention. Oh, that does sound painful. I think I've had to cite from stuff before, because I did like previously in a past life when I was a tiny little undergrad. I did some courses on like forensic psychology, and I had to cite loads of laws and stuff, and it wasn't fun. I wasn't a fan, to be honest. I wasn't a fan. You can download the ODF. Yeah, you can download the ODF from Google Docs, but because the integration works differently, if I download the ODF from Google Docs, all of the citations will break again. So I can't actually export it. I don't know. I don't know. It just breaks. It's very sad. It's very sad. Yeah, if I was smart, I would have just done that in the first place. Like I would have downloaded all of my chapters as ODFs and then swapped over to LibreOffice and then just gone forward with writing the big thesis document in that instead of on Google Docs, but I didn't think ahead like that. So I just put everything into one Google Doc. One 260-page Google Doc. And now things keep breaking. So that's where I am. Hi, Psychic Salad. How you doing? What is the answer to why am I like this? You are like this because genetics and also society and also experiences and also the interaction of all of the above. Does that answer your question? That's it. We've finished psychology. We can leave now. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. No, we can't ever finish psychology. There's always more psychology to psychology. I'm in pain. Oh, and thank you for the Be Mindful and Hydrate and Posture Check Night Mind. Let me, wait. I am actually sat up straight, believe it or not. I am actually sat up straight. It is tea time. I once again have chamomile because I thought caffeine is not a sensible idea in the evening, so let's not do that. Let's not do that. But yes, I already had one out because I realized I forgot to do the third Be Mindful yesterday. So we've got 2 for today. So that's good. And then once we've done those 2, we've cleared the Be Mindful backlog, and we will once again go back to having 1 Be Mindful per stream as the way nature intended. But unfortunately, apparently my brain does not work according to the laws of nature, so we'll probably end up with a backlog again. Classic? Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I know. For next time, correct, there is not going to be a next time. I am never doing a thesis like this ever again, okay? Never again. I'm not doing that to myself. It hurt enough the first time, no more. We're not doing that. But yeah, I'll use that for papers though. That'd be helpful for papers, I think. Definitely ones where I don't have to collaborate with people, because I think I've got a few things planned where I won't have to necessarily collaborate with people until like not really anything. They wouldn't be putting references in, basically. Like I'll be doing all the referencing, and they'll just be giving feedback and stuff. So I'll use that for that. I also should, I plan to learn maths first and then get used to basic formatting. This is my problem. I don't use LaTeX because I don't know maths. I've not done any math stuff since, apart from statistics. Obviously I've done graduate school level statistics, but aside from that, I've not done maths really since I was 15, which is kind of wild because I've done basic, pure maths. I've not done it since I was 15. But then applied maths I've been doing consistently pretty much every single day of my life since I was 15. So, I don't know. I forget what things mean. Where is psychology 2? This is a good question. If psychology is so good, why haven't they made a psychology 2? I ask myself this on a daily basis. I don't know. I don't know. Why does my shrink always show me the ink blots of my parents fighting? Oh dear. If they're using ink blocks, then that means that you need to get a new shrink because goodness gracious, that is outdated and is not very reliable. The extraction of information from the answer is left as an exercise for the reader. References available upon request. We should start saying that for scientific references too. You know? I don't know if you'll be up on Wednesday, but if not, let me wish you a early happy Lunar New Year. Happy Year of the Wood Snake. May this year bring fortune and wealth. Thank you, Bushy. Thank you. Happy Lunar New Year. Blah, 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 words. Yeah. Happy. Oh my gosh. Happy Lunar New Year to you too. I mean, I'll be lurking around on Discord. Like I said, I don't know about my stream plans. I don't know. I might be online. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I am half the time. Never say never. Absolutely not. Higher doctorate? No. Vetoed. Barred? Absolutely not. Hi, Floramid. How you doing? How you doing? If you go by the DSM, we're on Psychology 5. That's true, actually. That's true. Oh my gosh. I was thinking the other day, give me feedback on this. This is not something that I'm ever going to do anything with, so this is a free idea for someone else to run with. I feel like DSMV would be a really good VTuber group name. Like, imagine a group of like a group of psychology VTubers that are in the group DSMV. Incredible. My creativity knows no bounds. Oh my gosh. Dear. Psychology 5th edition, very true. It's not even the Psychology 5th edition anymore. It's like is it like DSM 5 TR or something, right? It's like revised. Which version is it now? I forget. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Yeah, DSM 5 TR. That's what we're on now. It got updated in 2022. I don't know what the TR stands for. I assume the R stands for revised. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, but then, okay. So, beginning with the DSM-5, because they used to use like Roman numerals, right? Roman numerals, right? So it'd be like, the first one was obviously just DSM because there was no sequel. And then the sequel was DSM-2, but in Roman numerals. And then it went through until 4, which was obviously IV. And then at 5, they were just like, nah, man, we're going to just switch to like Arabic numbers. And then now it's just 5. But like, okay, it says that they planned to identify incremental updates using decimal points, similar to software versioning, which is very cool and very based, and we love that. But then the second version of the updated version of the DSM-5, they called it DSM-5 TR. So it's like they had this plan and they didn't even do it. Why? Why? Not that any of this is relevant, because I'm in Europe, so we use the ICD anyway. Thank you for the follow, Rick Sager. Welcome in. All psychology VTubers sign me up. I know, it sounds very good, doesn't it? It sounds very good. Not me, though. I'm not the right kind of psychologist. Unless there was like different psychologists, if that makes sense. Like imagine if there was like one clinical psychologist. No, but that wouldn't work if it's DSMV. DSMV implies that it has to be like the healthcare related psychologists. Okay, how about hear me out instead? Instead of like psychologists, we have one. The DSMV is a VTuber group, and it will be one clinical psychologist, one counseling psychologist, one therapist, like psychotherapist, one occupational therapist, a mental health nurse, and a psychiatrist. And then you've got a whole multidisciplinary team as VTubers. I think this is a very good themed idea. Someone else can take this. Go and use it. They're all themed around the major chapters. That sounds cursed. That sounds cursed. We're not theming our VTubers around mental health issues. Goodness gracious. What even are the chapters? I don't remember. Like I said, I only really know the ICD, so yeah. I don't do psychology on the stream, but I talk about my work all the time. Yes, we love that. We love that. We love that. It's difficult to do psychology on stream if you're not like a science, like a research psychologist though, because like otherwise obviously there's so many ethical issues going on there and it's quite scary. That reminds me, Floramede, I'm gonna give you a shout out once I work out how Twitch works. There we go. Shout out for Floramede. We love fellow psychology adjacent VTubers. We love that. We love that. I'm partially licensed as a counselor, and I wouldn't be surprised to find other VTubers or streamers that are licensed too. I know a few actually. I know a few. I can think of someone that's a behavioral psychologist. I can think of somebody who is a mental health professional who works with like special educational needs. I can think of there's someone else as well, I think, who I've spoken to who was a mental health nurse. So there are definitely people around. There's people around, but yeah, I think it's the same thing. Like it's difficult to talk about it on stream if you don't do research psychology because the ethical issues that come in. They patched the exploits. You used to be able to call in too fast to work, 2K to work. Oh, that was a terrible time though, wasn't it? We don't like to talk about. Actually, I don't know. I feel like psychology is pretty good at talking about all of the ways that the DSM actually just like straight up harmed marginalized people. But yeah, that was not a great time. I love how the DSM was the analogy I used to understand the restatements of law. It's the DSM, but for legal things. I don't know if it's like that for the DSM, but some states just ignore the restatements. That doesn't sound ideal. That doesn't sound ideal to just ignore it. Yeah, I don't think the DSM can just be ignored because, like, you need. Basically, my understanding of the way it works in the US is that the DSM categories are used for, like, insurance. So somebody needs to have a diagnosis that matches one of the DSM categories. Now, that being said, some of the DSM categories do have, like, not otherwise specified. So, for example, it might be, like, mood disorder not otherwise specified or developmental disorder not otherwise specified. And that's to kind of like encapsulate people that don't fit like the traditional expectations of what we would see from various classifications. Yeah, so they're quite difficult to ignore, but on the flip side, there is also an umbrella category. But in my experience, like when I worked in mental health services, and we use the ICD equivalents, pretty much nobody ever got those classifications. Like most people were put into the textbook, like, yeah, existing ones. Yeah. For VTubers or just buy VTubers? Ideally buy VTubers. We don't want to be doing mental health stuff on stream. That's not ethical. That's not ethical. Look, if multidisciplinary relations have taught me anything, then the group you proposed would end in a fist fight. No. MDTs can work really well if they have the right management in place. I promise. I worked in an MDT, like a multidisciplinary team, when I was in the health service, when I did my time. And it worked really well. There were obviously like disagreements. You know, you'd have like the psychologist saying this person very clearly needs to be on receiving long-term therapy. Like, you know, they need like at least 3 months of therapy. And then the psychiatrists would sometimes zoom in and be like, okay, but what about just upping the drug dose? And we'd be like, maybe let us try our thing first and then we'll get back to you on that. But yeah, they can work and they do work. And they work. My experience is that they work especially well for like neurological conditions. So when there's like something, you know, physically going on in the brain, so like an injury or dementia or neurodevelopmental conditions, stuff like that. If there's something that you can see happening in the brain, then like the work between like the neurologists and the psychiatrists and the psychologists and the nurses and the occupational therapists and everything works really, really, really well. That was my experience anyway. In Italy, ICD codes are used for billing too. Yeah, I don't know what they're used for here. I guess for just research purposes. I think that's the main thing, is just collecting statistics for us. Hi, UFCO, how you doing? I hope you're good. The place I work in diagnoses kids with conduct disorder all of the time to get the services paid for by insurance. Most of them aren't conduct disorder. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah. Pain. It's a pain that it gets to that point and that has to be done. Like that. Yeah. If I remember correctly, like 80% of academics suffer from problems of inferiority or imposter syndrome or chronic self-doubt. Yeah, I don't know if it's that high, but it's definitely quite a few. It's kind of just a structural thing, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It's partially a structural thing because like you're kind of incentivized to be chasing, you know, the next paper, the metrics, all of that jazz. But it's also just like, I think it's probably just part of a thing of just being around like very smart, ambitious people. Like like people people in academia have very heavily been selected for by their environment, if that makes sense. They're the type of people that are willing to put up with a lot for not nearly as much pay as they should be getting. And then they also, you know, how can like get value out of publishing papers and having the I guess the social approval from and societal approval as well, because it's prestigious. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. Like if you're if you've been told your whole life that like, oh, you're really smart, and then you go to an academic environment and then suddenly everyone around you is just as smart and you're suddenly in the middle of the distribution rather than being at the top end, then I can see why that would create that. Yeah. That didn't happen to me because I was quite used to being average. I was quite average when I was at school, but like, well, I wasn't. How can I describe this? You know, a product of being neurodivergent, probably. Like, I would during school, like during the like midterm assessments and stuff, I wouldn't do great, and then at the end, I'd suddenly come in clutch with really good grades because I just like study the stuff that I cared about, and then I'd make connections on stuff that I cared about, and I'd like learn about extra stuff for the stuff that I cared about. And it ended up that like I'd basically score full marks on some questions, and then like I'd do okay on the rest of them. So it meant that I ended up getting good grades. Yeah. I was not a fan though generally of school. But yeah, because I'd been told throughout my whole school career, like, oh yeah, you're doing fine, you're doing okay. When I went to uni, I was like, yeah, this is fine, this is fine. And then even when I was doing the PhD, I was like, I'm okay with even just being in the bottom percentage because the fact I'm even here is pretty cool. Like, I didn't even think I was going to pass my GCSEs at one point, so that's nice. Do you prefer like ICD or DSM? I don't really know. I don't have any strong opinion, you know? I'm not that kind of psychologist, so I haven't spent that much time thinking about them. Hi, Sky. Welcome in. How you doing? I hope you're good. And what is billing if not a form of collecting statistics? Exactly. 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 People in academia are selected for ASD too. Okay, this is interesting. An interesting theory. However, when you actually look at the statistics, something like, I think it's like 25 to 30% of graduate students declare having some kind of disability. Now, obviously, that could be physical, or it could be like neurodevelopmental, or it could be mental health issues or whatever. Okay, so that could be literally anything. But like, it's fair to assume that like at least a third of them are probably neurodivergent. So based on that, we can assume that maybe like 10% of grad students are neurodivergent, which is more than the general population, right? But then when you go and look at faculty, right? So like postdoc and above, suddenly it's like 2% declare a disability. So I don't know if people in academia are genuinely neurodivergent and they just don't declare it to their employers for whatever reason, or if actually neurodivergent people are being selected out and the people that are being selected into academia are the ones that are like neurotypical, but mostly, but like with a few neurodivergent traits, if that makes sense. So like with autism, there's like this concept of like you can be autistic in the sense of like it affects your daily life, or you can be what's the phrasing that they use? Like have an autistic phenotype, I think is the phrasing that they use in research. It's a bit of a weird one. Not sure how I feel about that phrasing because like autistic people are also have an autistic phenotype. That doesn't make any sense to me. But like the idea is basically that like you're autistic, but you like your neurodivergence is like subclinical in the sense that like it doesn't affect your life at all. You just think a bit differently, and like people are just whatever, like, you know, you're just you. I don't know if maybe certain environments would select for them. I don't know. That would be quite interesting. Interesting to find out. I'd love to see how like for example, like the autism quotient questionnaire, like how does that differ between different employment sectors? I'm very interested in this, but I don't know how I can get money to do that. And also I don't know how I can personally do that, given that I am but a small early career researcher. And you have to be really careful with the data as well, because that's the kind of thing that would like, get horribly misused. I already have an inferiority complex and I'm not in academia. That's valid. There's lots of things that can contribute to it, though. It's not exclusive to people in academia. Okay, that is intelligence. But it's more than that, though, right? Like, if you're you're doing research, right? A lot of academics that I've met are like genuinely borderline obsessed with their topic. Like, it's all they think about. That goes beyond intelligence. Like, you need to have the right combination of like being intelligent, sure, but then also like being able to hyperfixate on a topic for a very long period of time and have it like become everything that you do, like your entire career. And like obviously lots of academics have terrible work-life balances. So like they're doing this stuff outside of work hours too. It's not like a 9 to 5 constrained thing. And like lots of conferences are on weekends. You have to be able to give up your weekend because you want to go and learn about this thing. Like there must be something there. There must be something about special interests in academia. I always say I'm very lucky because I've just basically managed to make a career out of my special interest. Like my PhD is literally just in my special interest, which is, you know, why people believe conspiracy theories. Like, I've lucked out. Don't sell yourself short. You're good and smart and funny. Thank you. I try. I try. Maybe I deliver with great difficulty. Oh. Hi, Tayu. I don't know if I've said hi to you yet. I'm quite behind on chat. I apologize. It just occurred to me that you could take off your lab coat and replace the Psy pin with a leaf and call yourself Psydere. I want to have an entire Apple model at some point, so that and then have like merch, cider merch, and it will be the Psydere. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, I'm so behind on chat. I apologize profusely. Thank you for the follow, Sister Watcher. Welcome in. Interesting name. Interesting name, gotta say. You've just signed up to take part in the research, though, so that's good. I can finally learn more about you and why you're called that. So that's good. Psydere formation. Exactly. Exactly. I'm going to formulate the perfect mind control cider. Oh, God. Oh, no. You called yourself that. You put that as your Twitch username. You had that coming. I think that a lot of those that go into academia are probably also more likely to grow up more well off. So probably more money and willingness to go out and diagnose them. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we can say for certain. People in academia are very much like from middle class and upper class backgrounds generally. Like the single biggest predictor of whether you're going to get a PhD is whether your parents have PhDs. So yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. I'm a statistical anomaly because my parents didn't even finish high school. So there we go. There we go. I'm a statistical anomaly in so many ways. That reminds me, I'm starting the mens rea or mental component for criminal law. The idea is that for some crimes, the person must have a criminal intention or should have reasonably known that it was criminal. But you can imagine it has changed a lot with better understanding of mental states. I haven't finished it yet, but I was thinking you would find that stuff interesting. That is super interesting. When I was working in the health service, I had to I was helping out with something called the Mental Capacity Act. So yeah, thank you for the follow, Zets and Alpha. Welcome in. You've also agreed to take part in the research now. So many participants. Excellent. Excellent. If I hit 1,000, then I might actually be able to publish something with you all. That's very exciting. But yeah, no, so we have the UK has something called the Mental Capacity Act, which is probably exactly this. We have like an actual framework for assessing whether somebody is capable of like understanding what they're doing and the consequences it might have. It's used for loads of stuff outside of just criminal law too. It's used for example, trying to assess whether somebody can have control over their finances or whether they might need to, have a power of attorney to come and help them out. But yeah, it is super interesting. I can't remember how it's done though. It's been a long time. Oh, I've just realized whoa. I don't like that. It's almost been 10 years since I've done that. I don't like that. No. I'm having a moment again. Oh no. Oh dear. Also, hi Pippy, welcome in. Is it Pippy? I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm sorry I took so long to see you. I'm very far behind on chat, I apologize. Oh dear. Glad to finally catch your stream live. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. And also, hi Aspirin Juice, welcome in. That's a funky name. Like a dissolvable aspirin. That's what I think. Diagnosing is weird. If someone's theoretical diagnosis doesn't affect them in their everyday life, I doubt they're seeking a diagnosis in the first place. This is exactly the thing, right? The whole point of diagnoses is to get people support that they might need. And it's not always being used like that anymore. But yeah, like for me, I got my autism diagnosis. I only got it because I was really, really struggling at university, like specifically around stuff with like group projects and presentations, which looking back, I find this really, really funny now because like I do not have this problem anymore because like I went out and got tailored support and I'm actually just fine with this now. But like I was really struggling. Like I was pretty bad. Like when I was in secondary school, I kind of just stopped going to school because I had really bad like social anxiety. And then I went to uni and I could surround myself with people that like, were like very actively not judgmental. So that made it a bit easier and I started to ease off on the social anxiety, but it still really affected my ability to do group work. Like it sounds so silly to say it now because like, you come to the streams and I just yap. But like, I had like a bit of selective mutism going on. Like I wouldn't be able to talk in group projects. And like if I got up in front of a class and had to present something, then I just break down and just couldn't talk. And yeah, then I got tailored support and things are good now. Like I don't get any of that anymore. But yeah. I like if you're not having those things happening to you, do you really, and you don't need the tailored support, do you need the diagnosis? It's a question that a lot of us struggle with, I think. Because like sometimes even now I'm like I really don't need much support on a day-to-day basis, but that's largely because my environment and my social circle like have adapted to what I need. And it just doesn't affect me anymore, really. Like my employer is super, super supportive. My husband is obviously super, super supportive. My friends are all very supportive. I told my employer like I need to mostly just be actually my university also. I told them like I'd like to mostly write my PhD from home, and they were like, yeah, no problem, that's fine. So yeah. So now I'm like, why do I still have this diagnosis? But obviously it still needs to be there in case I have problems again. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder. It won't disappear. So yeah. Also, hi-fi. How are you? I hope you're good. I'm only just seeing that you're in chat. I'm so sorry. How behind chat am I even now? This is quite bad. This is wait. Is there a way that I can like see timings? Probably. Chat appearance. Timestamps. There we go. Now I can see. Okay, I'm 7 minutes behind chat. Excellent. Okay. Me when I got the niche video game autism instead of the biomedical science autism, the procrastinator. I got both. I got the autism. I got the anime autism, and I also got the the science autism, and then I just combined them, and now I'm too powerful and I need to be stopped. It's a conspiracy. The fact that there is a Psydere stream is a conspiracy. Hard agree. Hard agree. Oh, wow. I had a photonics guy who got promoted out of lab work, and we asked him for help on one of our experiments. And he was like a kid in a candy shop. We just sat back as he messed around with the lasers for 2 hours. That's amazing. I love that so much. I love that so much. That would be me if I could be near lasers as well, though. If I had like an actual lab, I'd be dangerous. I'd be very dangerous. People believe conspiracy theories, weirdos, surely. So true. So true. I can't believe that people believe these things. Wild. Also, hi, Racco. How are you doing? I hope you're good. A side stream success. Thank you. Thank you, Sirix. Thank you. I'm doing my best. And also, thank you for the follow. That red panda. Welcome in. Welcome in. Does this mean we have to do like animal psychology now? Are we starting to do animal behavior? I might have to adapt my research protocol. Welcome in. I hope you're doing good. Hello, this is the IRB calling. True. Oh dear. I wonder if I could get away with actually trying to do research on Twitch chat. I wonder if I could do it. I think I'd have to keep the chat, like I'd have to keep the name of the streamer anonymous at least. Obviously the usernames too, but like the name of the streamer would definitely have to be anonymous because otherwise you could probably work out who people are. I have nothing to do with psychology. I'm just sort of interested in what's going on here. I'm just yapping. I do actually have like questions. You know what? Actually, maybe I should. What I'll do is, I'll share this also. Here you go. Here is it. No, wait. I tried to shout out again. My bad. Apparently that was still on my. Clipboard rather than the thing I just copied. Very cool. Everyone go follow Floramede. Has it actually copied this time? There we go. There we go. There is a form, a Google form. If you want to quickly leave some questions in there, I will actually get to them eventually. Otherwise I might miss them. So yeah. Or if I don't finish getting through them, then eventually, yeah, exactly. If I don't finish getting through them, then, you know, we can come back to them. Should I pin this? Let's pin this. Not, there we go. Yeah. Okay, there we go. There you go. I should have said leave your questions here. I did not think that through. There was an attempt. There was an attempt. Oh dear. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Turns out disabled people can thrive with proper support. Who would have thought? I know, right? I know. Wild. Wild. I actually have a question that might help me out. What does someone do if they think they've gotten misdiagnosed? That is a good question. So the thing you've got to bear in mind is that I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm a research psychologist. So diagnosis is not something that I know about professionally. That being said, I do have experience in the mental health services, and what I can tell you is the standard process that would be used in a lot of like NHS mental health services. Often there's some kind of patient liaison service. So if you're worried, the best thing that you can do is talk to the patient liaison service. Alternatively, sometimes you can find a alternative clinician who can give you a second opinion. But honestly, the best thing to do is to first of all talk to the medical professional, I guess. Yeah, get a second opinion and maybe a third opinion, exactly, yeah. But yeah, if you need support doing that, there should be some kind of patient liaison service or similar, or maybe like a non-profit that specializes in that area that might be able to help you. Obviously, this is all very jurisdiction dependent. I'm speaking from a UK perspective because that's what I know. I don't know where you are. Things vary quite significantly. It's part of why being an adult is actually kind of good, right? Being able to just choose like your entire environment and stuff. That it's very good. It's very good. And being able to surround yourself with people that like you can choose them rather than it just being people that you are forced to be around. It's been very good. It's been very good for me personally. Streaming can be very different for a shy person because it's a space that they create for themselves and where they feel competent and in control. This is interesting. Yeah. I would love to know like how people respond to it differently. Because it's interesting because I don't think that I am particularly introverted. I enjoy talking to other people and I enjoy other people's company and spending time with people. And I get a lot of energy from that. But it's like offset by like the sensory overload. Like I get really, really tired from the sensory overload. And on top of that, like if I don't know the people, then I still sometimes get quite anxious. When I was younger, it was very much just I had really bad anxiety and I just didn't want to be around people. But like I wanted to be around people. I just felt like I couldn't be around people. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. Largely just driven by a bunch of like cognitive distortions around thinking that like everybody was looking at me and thinking I was weird and stuff like that. And then I got older and I was like, I am weird and that's okay. And now I don't have those cognitive distortions anymore. So make of that what you will. Cursed extroverted introvert, genuinely, that's exactly it. I'm studying psychology with the Open University, so I can only work at home. Very nice, very nice. We love the Open University. They do good stuff. They've done so much to make education so much more accessible, and I like that personally. I'm a big fan. Also, I hope your studies are going well. That's very cool. Good luck. You can do it. You can do it. What are cognitive distortions? Basically, it's like, how can I describe it? It's like thoughts about yourself or about the world that are biased in a way that doesn't necessarily represent the most likely answer. So for example, if you're going around and thinking everybody is looking at me, and that means I need to be really hyper aware of how I'm presenting myself, the cognitive distortion there is thinking that everybody's looking at you, when in reality, like they're not. They're not. Like most people don't if you change things in the environment, most people don't actually notice. Like they're very, very unobservant because most people are kind of just stuck in their own world. Yeah, skewed thinking. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So yeah, they kind of just get stuck in their own world and they're not actually paying attention to what you're doing. And that's something I had to train myself out of thinking. And now I'm like, people are probably not looking at me. And even if they are, that's not my problem. Stop looking at me. Stop perceiving me. Sorry if I ask any silly questions. I don't know about anything about this field. No such thing as a silly question. No such thing. Everybody starts off with basic questions. Like, obviously, I used to ask basic questions when I first started doing psychology, and look at me now. I still ask basic questions. I forget what a standard deviation is. Oh, dear. Okay, there's going to be some ads starting soon, so I'm going to catch up with chat during the ads, and then we'll go on and do the actual questions. And these thoughts can turn into, like, social anxiety. Yeah, they can do. Cognitive distortions are, like, quite fundamental to a lot of mental health or well-being concerns. So they can do. They don't always though. Because obviously if you like go out onto a stage and you're performing the main part in a play and you're thinking everybody's looking at me, that's not a cognitive distortion, that's just reality, you know? Yeah, so like getting a bit of anxiety in that situation is completely reasonable. Whereas if you're going to the supermarket and then you think that every single person in the supermarket is like looking at you and judging you for the color of your top, then yeah, that would become a cognitive distortion. Standard deviations, I know about those at least. I'm glad that you do because I regularly forget what they are. Something around the mean, something distribution Confidence interval question mark. I don't know. I forget. I have to like reference stuff so much. Average distance of a score from the mean. Thank you. I'm glad that you know. Because I don't. I can like, the thing is for me, I can picture the graph. Like the standard, like, you know, one standard deviation is this much in the graph, and then 2 standard deviations is this much in the graph. But like the histogram diagram thingy, but I can't words. I can't words. I'm not good at, yeah. There doesn't exist a professor who doesn't cram basic info right before a lecture, literally. Literally. All of us do it. All of us do it. Like everybody from teaching assistants all the way up to like the most established long-term professors. Everybody does it. I'm dreading statistics and graphs. Don't dread it. Don't dread it. You'll be fine. You'll do great. You'll do great. If you start dreading it, then that means you'll find it more difficult because you're dreading it. So don't dread it. Let's see. I'm very into the Xeno series, and it takes a lot of themes from psychology. I've been trying to write a story similar to it, but theming it, a lot of it around biology instead. I'm hoping I actually get to go somewhere with the idea. It'd help me in my studies too. That sounds really fun. That sounds really fun. 10 out of 10 idea. We love applying knowledge to creativity. It's such a good way to learn as well, like finding a way to like apply your knowledge like that. Very cool. You're wild for writing a PhD thesis despite all your struggles. I don't know how I got here. I'm still questioning it. I don't know why I'm here. I still don't know how that happened. I'm so confused. It feels like life has just taken me, like, I've just rode the wave of life, my dude. I don't know what I'm doing. Reminds me that Anela and I were just shooting the wind, thinking about ideas to draw, and you came up in 2 of them, but they're the product of Anela and I being off kilter and laughing at random things if you want to hear it. I always want to hear that, Bushy. That sounds excellent. And thank you for the follow, Aspirin Juice. Yay. Welcome in. We now have 750 people in the participants pool. That's very exciting. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. That's very cool. That's a big number. That's scary a little bit. What was I just saying about social anxiety? Oh dear. I got my diagnosis by spewing out symptoms I found online, and they started selling medication for no questions asked. That's so cursed. That's so cursed. And thank you for the follow. Oh gosh, I'm gonna struggle with this one. Frigid Aero. I hope I've said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. But welcome in. Welcome to the participant pool. Still don't know what field of psychology I want to go down. I mean, to be fair, it took me a lot of exploring. I was like absolutely convinced that I wanted to do clinical psychology, and then I did mental health work, and then I was like, oh no, oh no, this isn't for me, no. And then I just chose basically a random final year project. I was like, that sounds vaguely interesting. So like in the UK, if you're doing an undergrad degree, like a BS in psychology, then you have to do a final year research project. And I just chose one that was like, oh, that sounds vaguely interesting. And then I happened to get it. And then I did it. And then I was like, oh, that's really fun, actually. I enjoy this. And it was a social psychology project. And then my advisor, my undergrad thesis advisor, was like, hey, you should consider doing this degree, this master's degree in adjacent topics. And I was like, that sounds fun. Okay. And then I did it. And then I found a PhD advertised, and I was like, that sounds fun, but what if we did conspiracy theories? And my advisor was like, yeah, go on then. And then I did a PhD. So it's genuinely just been like just turning up randomly and being like, that sounds fun, and then doing it. This isn't good careers advice. Don't follow my lead. I don't know how I made it work. Normally you're meant to plan, but just like my streaming schedule, I did not plan. Maybe I'm just not designed for that. I have to correct myself that BS means bachelor's project and not not bullshit project. Wait, remember that pseudo profound bullshit is a genuine like psychological term, so it could be. Like you could do a BS project, you know? Why not both? This is very true. Why not both? In the US, there's usually a state board that you can ask questions to and report it if you feel like there's any type of maliciousness going on. That's good to know. That's good to know. Let's see. I'm a scroll. I think, okay. I kind of managed to address most of these somehow. One of the ex-president's wives said something like, you'd worry less about what other people think of you than you realize when you realize how little they think of you or something like that. Yeah, exactly. That's how I think of it. That's how I think of it, that red panda. Stop worrying what others think about you when you realize how seldom they do. Exactly. That's a good motto to live by because they really do not think about anyone other than themselves a lot. And you know, you can even like test that out by looking at yourself. Chances are, unless you have some kind of anxiety disorder, you probably, even if you have an anxiety disorder, actually, you probably spend a significant amount of time just like thinking through what you're doing or what your goals are or how you're spending your time or what you did today, you know, or thinking about your memories. Even if you're just wandering around, like it's quite difficult to just pay attention to your surroundings rather than focus on what you're doing. Yeah. So normally, like, things will only stand out in the environment if they disrupt the pattern, like if you're not expecting them. So if you see something really, really strange, like a clown walking towards you, then you'd probably be like, oh yeah, there's a clown walking towards me. That's strange. Whereas like if it's just a person that looks a little bit anxious, they're not going to notice because it doesn't disrupt the pattern because there's loads of other people that look like that too. Let's see. Don't dread it, bread it, and deep fry it. Exactly. This is the answer to all your problems. If you've got a problem, just put it in the deep fryer. This is not official psychology advice. That isn't nearly as bad as you fear it is. It takes some time getting used to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's kind of fun. Exactly. This is exactly how I feel about it too. Like I think it probably took me maybe like 4 weeks of my undergrad to like settle into it and start to be like, okay, actually, if I put my anxiety around it aside, this is actually kind of straightforward and fun and interesting. And once you've got that mindset, it's super easy to just power through it. Because it's like so broadly applicable in your life, right? Like you can use that. You can use statistics. It's very cool. We just had an assignment basically forcing us to use Harvard referencing for the first time. Everyone else is stressing, and I'm like, well, this isn't hard. Yeah. Yeah. Referencing, you get used to it very quickly, especially if you use a program like Zatero. That's the secret. The lecturers will all be like, learn how to do Harvard referencing, and then they'll go away and write their own papers using a reference manager. You can use statistics, Psydere 2025. What can I say? I'm full of insights. What can I say? Criminal psychology sounds interesting. Social psychology, when I was introduced to it, I was like, isn't this just sociology? They are different. To be fair, a lot of people mix them up, and like having some sociology knowledge is useful for social psychology, and having some social psychology knowledge is useful for sociology, but they do study different things. Sociology looks at groups as units, I would say. So, for example, it'll be, I don't know, like how do networks form within a group? Whereas like, or like how do networks form between groups, or like how do different structures in society affect different groups of people? And normally it's like, from what I've seen, it's often like demographics based. So it might be, I don't know, how does the I'm thinking I can't think of an example. I'm trying so hard. How do social networks form amongst independent VTubers? That could be a sociology question. Whereas like social psychology is more looking at like individual thoughts and behaviors that are linked to their place in the social system or in a group, or how they think about that, if that makes sense. So like a social psychology question might be like, how do people's behaviors change when they identify as a VTuber? I don't know if that makes any sense, but they are distinct. They are distinct. Sociology, the study of absolute units. So true. So true. Yeah, it was Zatero. Zatero was the program. Sociology seems more top down and social psychology seems more bottom up. That's how I would think of it too. That's very much how I think of it. It's like psychology is looking at the cognitive processes that form groups and looking at how people think about society, whereas sociology is more looking at how society affects people and groups, and also how there was another thought and it's gone. It's gone. I don't know what else it's gone. It's gone. The art ideas were, one, after showing the V-Theorem art, the thought of Phi break dancing while the rest of V-Theorem are losing it randomly came up. That's pretty funny. And then two, doming people in the head with the tungsten cubes. I would never do that. I would never be violent. However, I would attack the misinformation monsters with a tungsten cube. That I would absolutely do. So there you go. Part of me wants to look into the psychology of online and heck, we can do this. Anonymity. Yes. It is pretty interesting the way that anonymity changes people's behavior. Yeah, it does interest me too. I don't really know that much about it. I've only read like a few papers on it, but the ones that I've read have broadly been just like, people go a bit silly when they think that there's no social consequences. Oh dear. Is Husbando the president? Husbando is the president of Psydere Co-op. Well, he's the co-president. We're 50% stakeholders each. More like the CTO. That's true. That's true. The real misinformation monsters were the friends we made along the way. Wait, what? It's me. I'm the misinformation monster. Plot twist. Speaking of anxiety, I have clinical anxiety, and submitting my third assignment has made me anxious. The assignment was about anxiety. That is a loop. That is a distressing loop. You'll do great, though. You're going to do great. You can do it. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up. Check me out. Check me out. I have a lot of friends that do neurology who are kind of iffy about psychology as a subject, and I always wondered why. That's very strange. If you mean, well, noises. If you mean like neuroscience, yeah, I don't know why they would be. I think neuroscience sometimes they have this thing where like they're kind of like, we're the STEMmy ones because we do brain and you do behavior and that doesn't count. But thankfully that's quite rare because most neuroscientists who are past undergrad, they'll be like, okay, actually we need to work with psychologists to understand the thing that we're studying. Yeah. I don't know. Wait, I'm gonna move this, hang on. There we go. Trying to prevent strange noises as I cause problems and create mischief. Got your battery back up? Nice. Welcome back, Yuravko. Welcome back. Didn't really get the anonymity thing because I'd behave the same IRL. Maybe it's because my username is so attached to me. Yeah, I do wonder whether like how much your username or your online identity is attached to your real persona affects that. It would be interesting. That would be interesting to look more into. The doming was actually cooler when we fleshed out a bit more because it was after we were talking about fighting games. After that photo, and we were like, okay, listen, NU13 style casting flying swords, but instead it's Psydere surrounded by tungsten cubes and using them as ranged attacks. Surely, okay. But surely that would be Husbando's attack. Surely, because he is the one. He is in charge of the Order of the Tungsten Cube. So surely that would be him. As a former neuroscientist, it can feel anxiety-inducing to not have more genetic control over your subjects. I mean, that's how I feel about my participants with their behavior. I'm like, please just do the thing that I expect you to do, please. You're causing me statistical nightmares. Oh dear. I have to control for so many things now. Terrible. Terrible. Do you think that it would be a good idea to reduce online anonymity by making it a requirement to link your ID to people so they behave more like... Oh, so people behave better like China does with mobile games? Or could that reduce the amount of doxing, etc.? That's a difficult question, and I don't think I know enough about it to make an assessment of that. My gut instinct personally, like I said, don't know anything about the science behind it. My gut instinct personally is there are some people that genuinely need anonymity for safety reasons, because they're a victim of stalking or something like that. So I'm not sure. I feel like that could cause them problems in particular, but yeah, not sure. Speaking of science rivalry, I have friends, one that has a PhD in theoretical physics, another in nuclear physics. And when they found out I'm doing psychology, they jokingly tell me I'm doing pseudoscience. Jokes on the nuclear physics friend, I call him an overglorified chemist. I mean, theoretical physics, like, come on. It's just numbers. Like, where's the science, bruv? Where's your experiments, brother? No, they actually do experiments sometimes, right? They don't just do maths. They do other stuff too, right? I'm not sure. I don't know. Every time that I've seen anything theoretical physics is all just numbers, and I'm like, confusion. But yeah, that's definitely a thing I've heard before. I've heard that a lot before. I know some arguments against the validity of how psychology currently works. Yeah, I mean, obviously I do meta science. I know all about that. We definitely have some things that we could improve on, but we're getting a lot better. So yeah, that's good. I think my biggest gripe is that like a lot of times, I'm guilty of this too. I've literally done this in my PhD because I was recommended to. But we have this tendency to like just make up scales. Well, not make them up. Like often we'll use other scales that already exist and we'll modify them. Or we will use theory to construct a scale, but then we won't actually statistically verify it in a robust way. We're quite bad for that. That's my biggest gripe, I think, with the field. My tutor is a child psychologist, and she said in a lecture, I can't control what the children do. I'm sat there going, you're not supposed to do this. You're upending the control. Incredible. Thank you for the follow, Homeless Meat Dog. That is certainly a name. Welcome in. Well, you're not homeless anymore. You're part of the participant pool. You are now a meat participant. Yes. Oh dear. Welcome to the lab. You can't leave. No, you can't. That would not be ethical. You can leave if you want to. You can leave if you want to. Does the Psydere research lab provide bed and pizza? Pizza, yes, but that's only because we can't afford to pay you actual money for your participation. Also, the pizza's vegan. You have to accept it. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. You must complete the experiment. Milligram time. Sometimes I wonder, like, I feel like if I was put in the milligram experiment, I would just be like, nah, I'm not doing this. Because I did that before. I took part in a social conformity experiment when I was an undergrad as a participant. And they were like, okay, now you need to do this thing. And I was like, no. And they were like, what do you mean no? I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's cringe. And they were like, okay. And then they told me afterwards they had to get rid of my data because I knew the people, like a year later, the person that was running the study ended up being my TA. And then I spoke to them and then they were like, I remember you. I had to get rid of your data. Because I broke the protocol. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. How people use the anonymity of the internet probably depends on what they want to compensate for in real life. If you feel restricted, you're going to want to act out. Meanwhile, someone like me is just lonely and wants to connect. So I see it as an opportunity to actually be myself with less social anxiety. That's an interesting idea. I do wonder. I wonder. That's an interesting idea. What's my thing? I feel like I just keep being me. That's the thing. I really don't think I'm that different in real life versus when I am interneting. What would that mean? What does this say about me? It says that I am a mess, both online and offline. Theoretical physics is just a mathematician who thinks too highly of himself. Brutal. Brutal. By the way, I meant to ask. Is the music okay? Because on my thing, it looks like it might be too quiet. But also, it might also be too loud. I don't know. Please tell me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm confused. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing. Hi, Lamuli. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're good. It's not bothering me. It's great. Perfect. Okay, cool. Cool. Thank you. Me studying psychology, I don't know anything, but I feel things. So true. I never met a science I never met a science I liked. Ha 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 ha. I should use that. I might actually steal that. You gotta head out. Thank you for joining us, Astro. I know you said that like 5 minutes ago. I apologize. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We have a cat cafe, and on the window, they have a statement that says the time spent with cats is never wasted. Sigmund Freud. And I'm cringing because he never said that. Ah, yes. Freud. Yes. Notorious for the time that he spent in bohemian cat cafes. Incredible. Non-compliance is valuable data. That's what I said to them. But they said that they had an actual protocol that they had to follow. And what I'd said, I can't remember exactly what I said to them, but whatever it was like, it was so far off the protocol that like they had to just stop, basically. To that I say, have a better protocol. Hi, Cooper, stuck in 2020. How are you doing? Welcome in. How much data are we allowed to remove until it becomes data manipulation? That is a big question that we struggle with even now, to be honest. Continue to struggle with it consistently. I wonder if autistic people are uniquely resistant to social conformity stuff. Also reminds me of how some study was like, these silly autistics fail to act in their best self-interest because they have too strong ideas of fairness. What's up with that? Yeah. There's some really weird papers out there about autistic people. There's some weird ones about the morality of autistic people because most of them are like, yeah, how dare they have such a strong sense of justice and fairness? There's something wrong with them. And I'm like, can't that equally be seen as a benefit? I think there's also been some studies that like the findings indicate that we might be more resistant to advertising and stuff like that as well. Which is quite funny because it's true. It's true. I'm very resistant to advertising. Hi, Scobie. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're good. How are you doing? You are now a participant, by the way. You just joined the participant pool. I messaged in advance predicting the delay. That was big brain. That was very big brain. I'm only 2 minutes behind now. I'm only 2 minutes behind. Time spent watching anime is never time wasted. Psydere, so true. So true. There's always a time and a place for anime. That place is here. The time is now. I mean, is it a cringe lord if it's true? I watch I'm rewatching Cardcaptor Sakura on my lunch breaks. I'm just saying. Have you ever had Cinnabon? I have not. I think there's one in like London somewhere though. I think there's somewhere in London, like a Cinnabon in London. Because it's the place that does like little cinnamon pastry thingies, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one in London. But the last time that I went there was with a friend. And yeah, there was nothing I could eat, so I just didn't. I just didn't. If there's no strict limitations for data removal, we can just keep only the data that agrees with us. That is actually like data fraud. Please don't do that. That's not ideal. It's not good. It's a terrible, highly questionable research practice, that one. Advertising, but what if it's for gacha? It's true. The only advertising that works on me is something that I already want. If I see an advert that's cool and it's for something that I already want, then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take this as a sign to buy the thing. Oh. Joke's on you. I manipulated my data to make you to make me look like the Chad. Chad Derry. That's me. I'm going to manipulate all of my data to make it look like I'm the Chad and all of my participants are not Chads, and then I can be the one and only Chad Derry. I cannot live without ad blockers or watch TV because of all the ads. Yeah, see, I just find them annoying. They don't affect me. I just find them really, really annoying. So annoying. Thank you for the follow, Apple Jammy. Welcome in. You're also a participant now. You've just joined the participant pool. Welcome in. And thank you for the hydrate, you Avco. I will drink tea. Oh, it's cold. I've been forgetting to drink my tea and it's cold. This is so sad. I need to find a way to deal with that face tracking issue one day. One day. One day. I'm watching you on my Samsung fridge. Amazing. I love that. I love that. That is incredible. That is incredible. Oh, man. Oh, no. Cardcaptor Sakura is based, but she never used the swords card. Yeah. I've not watched it since I was like really, really young. Like I want to say I was maybe 10 or something when I watched it. I can't have been 10. I was maybe like 13 when I watched it. And yeah, I'm like rewatching it and I'm not very far through it. I've got to like episode 10, I think. So I've got another 60 odd to go. And I swear I will finish it. But like it's just such a good one because like the episodes are fairly, at least the early ones. Like I said, I can't remember much. But like I'm not that far in. And yeah, it's It's quite nice because it's a good lunch break one because the episodes are fairly constrained. Like you can come back to them and like you remember the overall plot line, you know. But the individual episodes would kind of work a little bit as standalone as well. So it doesn't matter if there's like, you know, a week between each one, which is quite nice. Would you try it if Nando's offered chicken in sweet breading? No. What? Nando's are actually doing like Fanta flavored chicken wings at the minute, and it really upsets me. It really upsets me. Congrats for reaching the follower goal. Thank you. Thank you. You know what that means? That means we need a new one. It's time to do a new follower goal because that's how I work. I did all of my education and then I was like, you know what? Let's do more education. What could possibly go wrong? And then I regretted my decisions. There we go. New goal. We're going for the big number. We're going for the big number. How scary. That's a common thing. Autistic people having a strong sense of fairness. Man, I really dread ever getting a diagnosis for it. I hate the idea that maybe the main reason I work hard to be a good person is that I'm like genetically unusual or something. So, yes and no, right? Because that's not the main reason. It's just like a tendency. I think it's probably more that like certain ways of thinking about the world tend to overlap, if that makes sense. So like, yeah, I definitely do have a strong sense of justice, but I think it's just linked to the fact that like when I care about something, I really care about it. So like if I'm in, like, you know, I'm interested in why people believe conspiracy theories and I've done a whole PhD in it because that's how interested I am, for example. Yeah, or like, you know, the people that are really, really interested in a video game and they spend literally all of their time playing it and they like hyperfixate on it and they learn all of the lore. I feel like it's the same. Like if for me, if I care about something, like from an ethical standpoint, I really, really care about it. And I think that that's been more the thing that drives the decisions. And I don't think that that can be like, I don't know. Personally, I'm fine with it because, you know, genetic diversity is just like part of life in the same way that cognitive diversity and literally every other kind of diversity is part of life. The way that I see it, I would rather be genetically unusual and end up with a strong sense of justice than be genetically unusual and end up with no sense of justice, if you know what I mean. I'm quite happy with where I've fallen on the spectrum. Obviously, both ends are like valid. They all have their own place in society. But like, yeah. I think it's more about like incorporating it into your identity in a positive way. Like, you know, I'm glad that I ended up like this type of thing rather than like, oh no, I'm only like this because of this. Like you could have the genetic tendency and then never end up like that out of your own choices, you know? You could have a genetic tendency to care about ethics and then just decide not to care anyway, you know? We're not determined by it. Hello, as someone who is just finishing a school unit on user research and some very, very light psychology, I have to say I'm very impressed by what you do. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny because like it's just like my life in it. Like it's just my life in it. So I forget that like it's actually interesting to other people because to me it's just like my job. But thank you. User research sounds really cool. That's something that I want to learn more about actually at some point. When I started my undergrad degree in October, it had a video of two psychologists discussing if psychology is a science. And I'm sat there on a coach from London thinking, joke's on you, psychology is applied philosophy. I mean, all science is applied philosophy, right? All we're doing is just applying Popperian thinking. I manipulated study data and then manipulated review data to make it look like study data wasn't manipulated. Big brain. The big brain. So I care about you, so I study people, Lord Derry. Unironically, this. I wanted to understand why people do that, and I cared about it a lot, and then I became a psychologist. Like, genuinely. I've struggled to get an autism diagnosis. At one point, I was 1 point off from getting a diagnosis. Meanwhile, the entire report just felt incredibly inaccurate to me, and they used an interview with my parents from 5 years before. Yeah, like I said, I can't give like advice on that kind of thing. But generally, you should be entitled to a second opinion if you feel like you need one. So have a look around and see where to find one. I just realized I haven't been paying attention to anything being said because I'm phasing out of existence. Gotta go to sleep. Have fun with the yaps. Thank you for dropping by, Guns. I hope you have a good sleep. Please don't phase out of existence. That sounds painful. Have a good sleep. Talking about following goals, I'm watching a streamer that has automated to one more than the current number of followers, so they'll always be close but never reach it. No, that's annoying. That would really annoy me. I like having the milestones, you know? I like being like, okay, this is a number. We have checked off the number. Time to do the next number, you know? I like steps. I'm a to-do list type of person, you know? Oh, you wasn't asking for advice, just sharing the struggle. That's valid, that's valid. Probably also just the experience of growing up on the edges of society, like how being bullied for not fitting people's idea of masculinity made me be like, what is up with that? The whole concept is silly. Greater awareness of how arbitrary social constructs are and how they don't have to be that way. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't really have anything to add, just yeah. Experiences definitely affect that kind of thing, right? Philosophy is just science's alpha. So true. So true. Hi, H2O Cool Guy. Welcome in. Welcome in. And hi, Kojimas. Welcome in too. I hope you're both good. Any tips for anyone going the psychology route? Yeah. Unfortunately, my main tip is like look at where you live and the requirements for the career that you want to do, because like they vary a lot by country. I can tell you about the UK and Ireland. I can't really tell you about much else. Yeah. So find out what your local like professional body for psychologists is, and then see what their requirements are. So that's the starting point. And try and find experiences online of people like talking about applying for, you know, further degrees and stuff like that. Basically, the more research you do into it, the better you'll be able to work out what you need to do. Because like, for example, in the UK, like clinical psychology, super, super competitive. There's like, we've got like a separate clinical psychology doctorate that you do if you want to be able to practice clinical psychology. You can't practice clinical psychology if you do a PhD. You have to get this one, like, I think it's called like the Declin Psy or something like that. And like the requirements for getting into that are quite intense. So I always like whenever I have like students or whatever saying to me, how can I become a clinical psychologist? I'm like, go and look at this, and then also ideally talk to people who have like talk to people. Like don't be afraid to talk to trainee psychologists at the university. Just like reach out, see if you can talk to any of them about what they did before, because I think there are certain psychology careers where you really need to be aware of what you're getting yourself into. Let's put it that way. Yeah, that's my main piece of advice. And then my second piece of advice for going into psychology is like, don't be afraid to explore. Like, try out a range of psychology stuff if you can. You know, try a bit of social, try a bit of cognitive, try a bit of forensic, try a bit of clinical, mental health stuff, try a bit of sports psychology, like, yeah. Like learn a little bit about a lot of different subdisciplines, because you might be surprised at what you actually enjoy doing. Try and get some research experience as well as like clinical experience if you can. Because yeah, I didn't think I'd like research, and then I really, really liked it, and now I'm doing it as a job. So yeah. Let's see. I've just realized I've been yapping for like 1 hour, 40 minutes and I haven't even answered any of the actual questions in the form yet. So let's do that. Let's do that. I'm going to look at the questions. I'm going to look at the questions real quick. Oh dear. Things are exploding and I am confused. Oh dear. I'm breaking things. Ah! Okay, that's okay. 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 Right. There. No. Oh, I'm breaking things. What's going on? There we go. Okay, fixed it. I fixed it. It's fine. It's not broken. It's not broken. Gonna go do coursework now. Have fun. No, that's not the right word. Good luck. Do good on your coursework. You can do it, Aspirin Juice. And thank you for dropping by. Okay. Okay. And thank you, Krebka, for the follow. Krebka19, welcome in. You are now part of the participant pool. You have to take part in the research now. I hope you're ready. We're going to make you do so many surveys. Speaking of surveys, I have the Google form. There are some questions. There are actually quite a lot of questions. Okay. Let's start working through these. So, first question. First question is from Shayon. Shayon says, this is actually a VTubing question, but also a social psychology question. It's an interesting question. Do you feel any sense of digital dysphoria because of your virtual self / VTuber model? That is a very interesting question. So I can see why some people might do. I think, yeah, I can see why some people might do because their social identity might not map onto their VTuber model's social identity perfectly. And in that case, that could probably cause some weird kind of mismatch between themselves when they're IRL and themselves when they're streaming. For me personally, I mean, the Vroid model definitely has areas for improvement, but like Psydere's design, the way the actual design goes, is very, I'm not gonna lie, I based it quite heavily off myself. Like, the clothes are stuff that I would actually wear in real life if I had them. My hair is roughly the same. The colours aren't that far off what I actually look like. Yeah. So the answer is no, because I kind of purposely designed Psydere like based around me, if that makes sense. I'm really interested to learn how people manage it when there is a big difference, and like when they find that comforting and when they find that like distressing. Like, for example, if you have to use a free model and you don't like the way it represents you, how do you manage that? That would be really, really interesting to learn more about. But my gut feeling is that a lot of VTubers who have a custom model, like they're probably putting forward a representation of themselves that they want to be seen anyway. So yeah. Likewise, Tayu is just a bit of an idealized me. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I see Psydere, right? That's like Psydere is just basically me. Like, it's even down to the lore. Like, the lore is literally just like Psydere is a very tired research psychologist who turns into a magical girl and fights misinformation. And it's like, that's like minus the the magical girl bit is the bit that makes me into a VTuber. The rest of it is just true. It's just true, like. Oh dear. Was life ever as good as you remember it to have been, or is your brain lying to you to help you keep alive? I mean, I like my life. I'm quite happy with my life, you know? So, I don't know how to answer that. I found surrounding yourself with like-minded people also helps. I joined my OU psychology Discord group and it's been really motivating. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. I am literally an 8 micron single-celled organism. This is true. This is true. You are canonically the smallest V theorem member. Wait, no, Z is. I forgot. You've been out. microned. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm glad you're happy, thank you. It's taken a lot of work to get there. It was worth it though. My thing is not loading. Oh dear, I've lost my place. I am confused. Okay, there we go. Q&A question. This one's another question from Shayon. There's actually a lot of questions here. Okay. Technically, Z is just a photon, dimensionless. This is very true. Oh, you're just venting. Okay, no problem. Isn't Z the entire cosmic background radiation? Z, I believe, is energy that spontaneously turned into an anime girl. I think that is the law. Like, you've heard of if Boltzmann brain was so good, then why isn't there a Boltzmann anime girl? Basically that. Thank you for the follow, Angel XO Dust, and also thank you for the follow, S15 Love 77. Sorry, I did see that, and then I never forgot. I never actually said anything. Thank you both for the follows. Thank you. Welcome in. Welcome to the participant pool. You have to take part in the research now. You've just signed the consent form. Bye. You might be back. No problem. No problem. Thank you for dropping by. She is certainly energy. I know. She is canonically Genki, so. Aren't we all energy equals MC squared? So true. If I'm energy, then why don't I have any? Ugh, I'm so tired. Anyway, right, next question. Is from Shayon. Where do you think your subfield is going? Any emergent trends? That is a good question because I am not very good at reading papers. I started my job and basically I had 3 months of just pure thesis writing, and then this month I've been doing my job, like my new job. And then yeah, I've not really been reading papers. I think the ones that stand out to me is that I'm starting to see more use of AI in tailored misinformation interventions. So there was a paper that came out, I think it was in Science? ? But yeah, they trialed out an intervention where they used, I think it was, they had an API integration that let participants talk to a model, it was ChatGPT, but it had been pre-prompted to respond in certain ways. It had 3 messages with it, and basically it was trying to see whether it would. I'm trying to think. Hang on. No, let me explain this paper. Okay, I'm trying. So they got participants to write into the survey a conspiracy theory that they believe. So say, for example, someone was like, I think there is a VTuber conspiracy. I think VTubers are secretly psychological warfare or something. I don't know. They're trying to turn us all into weebs. Something like that. So then that gets fed, and then they type about why they think that. So they're like, I believe this because so many VTubers use anime-inspired models, so it's very clearly some kind of cultural, psyop. I don't know. And then all of that gets fed into ChatGPT. And then ChatGPT is prompted to basically respond to the arguments. So basically counter-argue. ChatGPT is counter-arguing with what they've put into the survey. They have a few back and forth messages where they respond to what ChatGPT is saying, and then ChatGPT responds back. And the aim is to basically make it feel like the person is having a conversation with somebody who is receptive to what they're saying, but is also kind of kindly being great, but have you considered maybe not actually? And they found a pretty big reduction in conspiracy theory beliefs, before, comparing before the intervention versus after. So people were less likely to believe the thing afterwards, after speaking to ChatGPT, basically. But the interesting thing is that it carried over time. So I think, from what I remember, they did a 2-month follow-up. So they re-surveyed people about these beliefs 2 months afterwards. and they were like, hey, do you still believe the thing? And then they were like, not as much as I did. So the effect carried through. That was super, super interesting. And I have a feeling that that's probably going to be one of the big trends, is like trying to integrate AI into existing conspiracy theories and misinformation intervention to have a more tailored response, because people clearly respond better when it's tailored to their needs and tailored to their beliefs. Yeah, that's what I think. Let me try and find the paper. I'm sure I can find it. I'm pretty sure I remember who it was by. I think it was by Tom Costello. Yes, Durably Reducing Conspiracy Beliefs Through Dialogues with AI by Tom Costello, Gordon Pennycook, and David Rand, and it was published in Science. Let me post the link. There you go. Very cool. It was very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, that I think is going to be a trend. I think there's going to be people replicating it, and then also trying to work out how AI can also be integrated into other existing interventions as well. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Gaia Governia VT. Welcome in. Welcome to the participant pool. Hello, welcome in. How you doing? I hope you're good. Lizard people, I know. Lizard people. What if VTubers are actually just lizard people? What if we haven't actually invented the technology yet to like appear as though we're flesh people, and so our answer is to just be anime girls on the internet? What if? What if? Psydere is character.ai, except every time you ask her to be your girlfriend, SS Huz AI replies, she's already my wife. That would be quite funny. Imagine if like Husbando AI would just enter and just moderate the chat even in character AI. That would be very funny. That would be very funny. I don't know if many conspiracy theorists would like the idea of talking to an AI bot to get rid of their belief system. Well, this is the interesting thing. Based on the surveys that I've seen, people actually seem to fairly consistently trust AI. Which is, yeah, interesting. Very interesting. So the fact that it's not a person means that, I don't know. I don't know if some people assume that the fact it's not a person means that it doesn't have the same biases. Obviously, like if you know anything about AI, you know that AI can absolutely be 100% biased. And it's just entirely down to the training data. Yeah. But if you don't know much about AI, then you can probably just be like, oh, it's just a system. It's going to be less biased than people. Potentially, I don't know. But yeah, the trust in AI is actually generally quite high. Like a lot of people use ChatGPT for pretty much everything now. AI conspiracy detection. That is also a thing that I've seen. I saw a paper that was like, they developed like a machine learning corpus, like for language analysis. I can't remember the details, and I feel so bad because I talked to the author at a conference and I was like, oh, this is really cool and interesting. And they were like, thank you. This is very cool that you think it's cool. Yes. And then I was like, yes, I would use this. And then I forgot who it was, and I never found their paper. So that's sad. I should probably try and find it at some point. But yeah. So AI conspiracy detection is also probably going to be a thing. Generally, I think AI, like you can probably just say in general, like the way that scientific fields are going, there's just probably the trend is AI, like at least for a little while. That's also where a lot of the funding is, to be honest. Pennycook and Rand winning again. So true. So true. Please tell me there's hope for conspiratorial thinking. I've been watching too many cynical Reddit videos and it's been tanking my faith in humanity. There absolutely is. There absolutely is. I think the thing with conspiracy thinking, right, is that it's always been there. It's just that we're more aware of it now. Like when you look at the actual opinion polling data all the way back to like the 60s, a lot of people will be like, oh, the internet means that there's more conspiracy theories and there's more misinformation. There isn't. There isn't. It's more talked about now. You know, things are actually called out as being conspiracy theories or misinformation, whereas they weren't before. It used to just be political rhetoric that would just fly under the radar and people would just be like, oh, you know, it's just part of politics. And now it's like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, stop spreading it. But even then, there's still quite a lot of them that do still fly under the radar. And, you know, obviously there's, you know, a little bit of polarization happening in places. So sometimes people only call out the things that they disagree with. But yeah, there is hope for it. There is hope for it. Some of the interventions are quite promising. That being said, I do also feel like I'm losing faith in humanity around it sometimes. So yeah. you have to be built a certain way to do this research. I'm not gonna lie, like I've had a few undergrads be like, oh, conspiracy theories and misinformation research, that sounds so fun. And I'm like, how much time have you spent on the internet? Have you seen the worst of what is said on the internet? And if they're like, no, then I'm like, yeah, go and see how you feel about some of this stuff, because you need to work out whether you've got the like resilience to make it work. Quack. I agree. Did that quack? I didn't hear it quack, but I don't know if I'm just not listening. Maybe I couldn't hear it over my own voice. VTuber models cheaper than a flesh suit? Exactly. That's why the lizards use them. Don't give them ideas. Look. I research conspiracy theories as part of my job, okay? That means I am also very good at making up conspiracy theories. Just saying. There's untapped potential here. Somebody could probably use me to generate like plot devices or something. Hi Xiaomu VRM, welcome in. How you doing? Your model was lovely. Thank you. I made it myself in VRoid. I made it myself with the great help of VRoid. There's this thing in philosophy, you know how you believe everything you believe, like you believe they're true, each one. But on the whole, it's quite easy to think that most likely some of these things are false. So you're basically believing a contradiction or something. Yeah. I think that's something that we do within psychology as well, because there's this concept called like cognitive dissonance, where basically you try and resolve the tension between believing something is true and then seeing evidence to the contrary, and then it makes you uncomfortable, and then you kind of shift stuff around mentally to try and either maintain your belief or update it. That was such a scuffed explanation of cognitive dissonance, but sounds like it's vaguely the same thing. What do you think about techno-feudalism? I don't know what that is. That's what I think about that. I don't know what that is. You're heading out, Mario. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. I hope you've had a great time. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Okay. You may quack yourself. Quack. Can you consult for me for my next presidential campaign? Absolutely not. I've resolved to never do anything about politics. I'm scared. Would it count as having a conspiracy theory that think out of the wait, what? Think out of multiple conspiracy theories that some are true? Oh, would it count as having a conspiracy theory if you think out of multiple conspiracy theories, probably some are true? Yes, under the psychology definition. Because the definition of conspiracy theory in psychology is like basically a belief that an event or a phenomenon is being manipulated in some way for an external malicious group's gain. Something along those lines. Like they're secretly doing saucy stuff. Quack, yes. So like even if it's true under that definition, it's still a conspiracy theory, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yes. But I mean, you know, it's just statistical probability that eventually some of them are going to be true. So yeah. It's less about like, because before it's either shown to be true or false, there's no way to know whether it's true or false, if that makes sense. So at that point, whether it actually is true or false doesn't really matter for people's cognitions, if that makes sense. As long as they believe it to be true, then that's what we're interested in, at least from a psychology perspective. When I used to work in the state attorney's office, I noticed we would have a bit of gallows humor and would often make small jokes about cases, not in front of the witnesses or victims. And I wonder if there was a psychological reason for that. Maybe humor to escape looking at bodies for so long. Yeah, probably. Probably, to be honest. I think that's pretty common in a lot of professions that are kind of difficult to manage. Yeah, like the police and mental health services and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. So it's getting late, so I think it's probably getting time for me to wrap up the stream. There's going to be an ad though. And it's I'm sorry. So we're going to do 3 minutes of ad. I apologize profusely for that. That's going to I'm just going to keep yapping until the ad is done and then we'll wrap up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Techno-feudalism is how, despite social media websites giving us platforms and we can earn money there, it profits way more on our backs and at the expense of our stress and well-being, as its algorithms can change on a whim. Yes? Question mark? I don't know. It's quite difficult to assess that. My answer is I don't know. I still don't know. Thank you for the follow, DOS Skrill. How do you say that? Please tell me how you say that. I apologize. DOS Squirrel? Squirrel? I'm struggling. I apologize profusely. Anyway, while the ad's running, let's wrap up with our mindfulness thingies. Yes, okay. So, we've got a gratitude and a journal. Thank you for the follow, IDUI. Some of the names on here are wild. Okay, gratitude. So, today's gratitude task. It says, keep a notebook by your bedside. Each evening, write down 3 gifts that the day has brought you. These can be small gifts, such as a great cup of coffee, or big gifts, like booking a holiday. What would I write down? What am I grateful for today? What are the gifts that the day has brought me? Today, what has it brought me? It brought me and Husbando had burgers for dinner, so that was good. What else? I'm broke, sorry, no gifts. No, gifts that the day has brought you. Yeah, I'm thinking, and I'm not sure. Burgers. I got nothing else. We just had good burgers. I got nothing. I'm struggling for the other 2. Streaming, I guess. We streamed. We had fun. Almost having no broken citations in Zotero. I guess that counts. And then the second task is a journal task. Wait, we've done that one before. What the heck? Are we already all the way through them? Okay, no. Okay. I'm pulling another card because do you remember the Do you remember the Marcus Aurelius quote? It was that one. Ritual. We're going to do a ritual, okay? Today's ritual is turn off all electronics at least 30 minutes before going to bed this evening. Plump up your pillows, make a cup of chamomile tea, and spend the time reading a chapter of your book. So we find a book and we're going to turn off the electronics and go to bed with chamomile tea. That sounds very cozy. That actually just sounds like a fairly standard day, but I'm not going to lie, I do normally watch YouTube instead of reading a book, which is probably not ideal. Joke's on you, I have an ebook. Same, actually. How am I meant to turn off all electronics when my book is an electronic? This doesn't add up. But the point is, don't be looking at phone or PC or laptop. Put them away. No switches, no 3DSs, no GameCubes. Put them away. Don't be using them. It's not good for your eyes. Okay, we're going to finish up now. And I need to find someone to raid. Where are we going? Who can we raid? Who can we raid? Who am I following? Where should we go? I'm having a look. Can I suggest Bixia VT? I follow Bixia, so yes, you can. You can. We will go. No, oh, Teo used the redeem. Teo wins. Teo wins. The last minute clutch. Oh my gosh. Okay. In that case, we're going to go raid Boomer. We're going to go raid Blue Eyes White Boomer, who is absolutely lovely. There we go. Raid message. There we go. There's the raid message. It is field work time, my dudes. Yay. That's probably a really old meme now. Let's do that. There we go. Okay, cool. Looks like Boomer is playing Hollow Knight. I don't know what that is. We're going to go find out, though. We're going to go find out. Thank you, everyone, for joining. For joining the app. I did actually answer a few questions, but there's more questions, so we can always do more next time. So that's good. Now we have a series, potentially. Maybe. You don't know what Hollow Knight is? I am culturally illiterate. I have not been engaged in any kind of cultural activities for like 5 years. Probably longer. So no, I don't. I don't know where I am. It looks cute though. Cute, I guess. Thank you. Thank you, Basil. Thank you, Siriax. Thank you, Phi. Thank you, Tayu. Thank you, Potter. Thank you, Dot Rex. Thank you, Nightmind. Thank you, Bushy. Jamu, thank you. Yafko, I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you'll have a good rest of your day. Don't know when the next stream will be. Keep an eye on the notifications and social media and stuff. I don't know where I am anymore. We're going now. Bye. Thank you.